Welcome to the DLLS Rangers Weekly Podcast, now part of the All City Network. Hit the subscribe button for YouTube and also become a DLLS diehard at www.alldlls.com. Now here's Jeff and John. Hey everybody, welcome to DLLS Rangers Weekly Podcast. This is episode number 11, and today Jared Sandler from the radio and actually TV broadcast, TV broadcast is going to join us. One of the reasons he's going to join us, guys, is because we are big on this show about any sort of charities or anything like that the Rangers are associated with. He's got one coming up. He's going to tell us about it. We also got to talk about what happened this last weekend with Do It for Dura. It was such a good time. But first, this episode today is brought to you by One Rangers Way, which we got to talk about. We were out there. Yeah. What a great place. I mean, that thing is really coming along.
It is. You can't really, if you remember the area before the new ballpark was built, and try to envision all that's changed there, it's really staggering. And this is the latest one. And they're now doing, starting on Tuesday, they're going to be doing the hard hat tours. And so you can go in amongst the construction. You got to wear a hard hat and a vest. But
we had to get in. You
can go in there and look at the model they have. It's very nice. You'll see some of it on what we're about to show you. But Nicole and Scott out there, they're gonna make you comfortable. They're gonna make you want to live there. So
it's really cool.
If you want to live by the ballpark, both the football stadium, the museums that are being built there.
Yep.
You really need to take this opportunity and check it out, because it's pretty sweet. If I was a single man and our kids didn't have roots with the schools and everything, or even if I would, there's no question that I would look to live there. It's just awesome. Yeah.
Especially working and covering the Rangers, you'd be right there. Walk to work every day to cover a game. It'd just be amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, One Rangers Way, guy. We thank them for they've been with us all year long. This is a big thing, and it's really coming up. And we appreciate One Rangers Way, who's sponsoring this show today. Hey guys, it's John Moore with Jeff Wilson from DLLS Rangers Weekly Podcast, and we're back out here at One Rangers Way, and with us, as always, is Nicole Sonker and Scott Seeley, who we had you on here twice before. Guys, we're here now. We're actually on location. No more models. We're here. This is real.
We are in One Rangers Way right now.
This is the model for One Rangers Way, but this will be a leased apartment eventually.
It will become a leased apartment, but yes, we are in a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom, the Ballpark 3 apartment, with fully furnished options here.
Now, you guys had some media out here yesterday to kick off the hard hat tours, which begin on the 19th, which is in a matter of days. What was that like? And then, that's like it's super real at that point.
Oh yeah, I mean we're still planning to welcome our first residents in January. So this was the media's first glimpse at One Rangers Way. We took them upstairs to our 4th floor amenity level. We were able to show off some of the incredible views. Of course, we took them through the model unit here. But to answer it was an incredible experience. Eric Nadel came and spoke. We have a floor plan named after him. So we presented him with a commemorative plaque, and what a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
He's great, and obviously knows so much about the game, but everybody here loves him. He's the voice of the Rangers, and
that's why we named a floor plan after him.
There you go. Between him and Chuck Morgan, that's two. Well, shoot, they have probably 75 years between them, and working for the Rangers, and so to do that is awesome. To have these floor plans named after players and the fan plan, and
iconic moments, the 2023, of course.
There you go. Yeah. So where are we at on the leasing numbers?
Oh my gosh. Scott, you want to take it?
Yeah, so One Rangers Way will be proud to welcome its first residents in the middle of January. We have more than 80% of apartment homes already rented from January through the Texas Rangers season opener in the end of March. So now is your time to come in and secure your apartment if you are looking to move in prior to the Texas Rangers season starting next year.
And that's March 27th or 6th,
somewhere
27th, yes.
They play your Royals on the 24th and 25th in exhibition games over there too.
Yes, so, I saw that.
Yeah, so
you gotta get down there and see.
They're spring training partners, so they do all this stuff together. But
And to clarify, you're talking 80% of the ones that will be available by opening day. There's still more.
There is more. So we, One Rangers Way will have a phased approach of apartments. And so we will be getting apartments turned over to us between January all the way through July. We've seen incredible interest recently on some of our penthouse apartments within our penthouse corridor. We start getting those as early as the beginning of May, all the way through July as well.
And guys, if you say in the hard hat tours that are starting Tuesday, the 19th, they're coming up, you got to understand what's here. This isn't just apartment living. I mean, this is going to be the place to be. And I'm telling you, we could walk right out here and I could hit the stadium with a rock. Maybe not. That's a little further than.
Well, you could hit the Starbucks with a rock.
I might. You used to play golf with me last week. I might could hit it with a driver. I don't know. That's a pretty good.
You play pretty good.
But we're right here, though. We are right here, right in the middle of all of it. This place is amazing.
Yeah, and the museum is taking shape now. It's not just the last time I was here; it was just a bunch of beams and stuff. And now it's taking shape.
No, we've got incredible views of the Medal of Honor Museum and steps away from the Arlington Museum of Art as well. And I'm kind of a sports fan, definitely a Rangers fan, but I'm also a Disney girl. And we've got 2 Disney exhibitions going on at the Arlington Museum of Art right now. And so I think it just speaks to the breadth of everything that this district has to offer.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And I know Cowboys season's been disappointing, but still, games get sold out every time. It's right there. It's maybe a couple drivers away.
It's right there.
The views of AT&T from the club room and the apartments they're stunning.
So what are people saying who have leased? What are they saying they like the most about all that you guys have to offer?
Well, I mean, we see a few local business owners who have rented with us. And, Aziz is one of our favorites, of course, Aziz Kotbi with Prince Lebanese Grill.
Sure. Yeah.
And he said, I work a 15-hour day. I want to come home and not have to worry about anything. So like for him, proximity is key. Like, of course, that's great. But then you think about this maintenance-free lifestyle. And I think that's one of the things that he's really looking forward to. I think also the pool with the swim-up bar.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be down to visit too, Scott.
Has a problem with that.
We will save you guys a private poolside cabana a couple of weekends throughout the summer.
Nice.
But, yeah, I mean, another thing is just the social and network ability. The lifestyle the residents are going to get. We're going to have a lifestyle coordinator. They're going to plan 4 to 6 events a month. It's about networking. It's about meeting your neighbors. It's more than just the 4 walls you get inside your apartment.
Well, I think the cool thing about this that I've looked at, so I've got a daughter who's 26 years old. If you're a single person wanting to live in the middle of the action, this is perfect and this is great for it. But also, if you're somebody that you have a second home somewhere to do something like that, my wife and I have always discussed in situations like it'd be great to go to the game and not have to drive all the way back to Richardson if you had a little place to something here. So it could be a second place to hang out in the district, especially if you got season ticket holders, stuff like that. But here's the question I got to ask, because as someone like me, if I was a single guy that came into this, I do not shop. So I would live on, blow up mattresses and an air. Are there going to be any furnished ones?
Yeah, so the apartment we're in now is a fully furnished model, but we will have not only guest suites that our residents can rent for their friends and family, but we'll also have furnished options with apartments and preferred partners to rent some furniture as well. So you don't have to think about any furniture, any couches, or art pieces. We got you covered.
Okay, because for me, that's going to be major if I was having to do this, because I would just live on an air mattress and have beer in the fridge. That's kind of my lifestyle.
Well, we can help you out with the beer in the fridge too.
Well, you go down to the bar and get
we
it.
have the on-site. We have 2 on-site resident bars.
So the amenities are fantastic, but this is like customer service unmatched. I can't think of a place around here that has it like that.
No, you'd have to go to Dallas, maybe Fort Worth, to see something like what we're bringing here.
I think Eric Nidell said it perfect yesterday. Everything you're looking for in a hotel or a resort is here in your community. You're going to have a 24/7 desk attendant to welcome you home every day. Our lifestyle and events team, and so it's really about an experience here.
I have another question. Are you guys hiring employees?
We are. I'm so glad that you asked, Scott.
Are you looking?
I'm not looking, but I know people who might be.
We are, yeah. So if you head over to onerangersway.com, we'll have a careers tab. We are looking to fill out our amazing, One Rangers Way and Cordish team members here in the coming weeks.
That's awesome. So you're creating jobs, you're giving people homes, you're bringing attention to the Arlington Entertainment District. I mean, Arlington boasts, has a pretty high opinion of itself, but it should with all that's going on here. So
people that come to the Metroplex for vacation, this is the area they come to because everything you want to do is here. I mean, look, there's some historical stuff around Dallas, but I'll tell you right now, it sounds like with what you're going to have in the lobby and all of that, for anybody from the Northeast, New York, you lived in New York City or whatever, and you're coming here, this is probably the closest to living in the middle of Manhattan where you got attendants down there below and everybody that can wait on you and help you as you're coming in. I know I've stayed at hotels and Airbnbs in New York and you got a doorman or whatever. It's pretty neat. Sounds like that's all going to be here.
Yeah, definitely. And not only that, you're going to have, some of Arlington's best dining. We have a Soy Cowboy that just opened up, El Tiempo.
Love Soy Cowboy.
Yeah.
I parked at the Starbucks across the street. So if you're a coffee person, that's right there too.
yeah, you can't. I just can't say enough about this place. I'm
Well, and the
very
retail
excited.
options that are coming as well
Oh, I know
are really
those.
exciting. Lucchese Boots.
Okay.
And the Texas Dry Goods Store as well will open up early 2025.
It's in Choctaw.
By the way, it's Lucchese.
Lucchese. Lucchese
She's not from
Boots.
Texas, guys, so that's all right. It's Lucchese Boots.
Lucchese Boots.
Now, I may be saying it the hick way, but that's the way I've always said it.
So we need to go shopping together then.
There you go.
I guess. I tell you what, you can tell me if I look fine. And my wife always shops for me, basically, because I am just a...
That's not a ringing endorsement today, John.
Yeah, no kidding.
let's not put her fashion sense on you today.
Hey, guys, honestly, One Rangers Way, this thing is going to be fantastic. If you're looking for a place to live in the Metroplex, you want to be in the middle of all the action, this is obviously a place to go. If I was young and single again, I mean, I would be probably, have my hard hat on Tuesday, one of the first ones coming through the door. I still may. I don't know yet. I'm going to talk to the wife.
That's right. You guys are about to be empty nesters.
Yeah, we are. We got the youngest one going off to college. Nicole, Scott, this has been fantastic. Anything else we want to do, Jeff?
No, just thanks again for the partnership, and I hope
Absolutely.
you can keep it going. And I wish you guys all the success in the world because this is fantastic.
I think
Thank
once
you
this
so
place
much.
open, we'll talk to Scott about having a little DLLS Rangers
He
event.
just promised us
Yeah.
a cabana.
We'll
Let's
have
do it.
We'll have an event where we'll get
A
all the
cabana
listeners
and a
out here
bar
for some
with
beers
bars.
and do that.
We would love that. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you guys for having
We'll
us be a part of this process.
I think we do
Yeah.
owe you one more live one after the week of the opening. Maybe
Absolutely.
Let's
we'd
do
have
it.
to check our contract.
We'll be here.
Yeah.
Guys, that's One Rangers Way for Jeff, Nicole, Scott, and me. Until next time, we'll see you at the yard. We got to talk. When Jared comes on, we're going to talk about his charity, which is really cool. I worked it last year with him. But speaking of charities, we did have this week, Do It for Dirt had their big 10th anniversary last Friday. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was a great time. It really was.
Golf. Me and you played some golf with Mike Maddox. And I don't know if you guys remember Leon Roberts used to play for the Rangers back in the late 70s, I believe, or early 80s.
Played for a lot of teams.
He played 11 years. He was my kart partner. So we talked a lot about his days playing. He's a funny guy and a good golfer.
Yeah.
But Mike Maddox is the cream of the crop.
Yeah, Leon was great inside 100 yards. And,
Oh, my God.
And he made every putt.
Yes.
Inside of 10 feet, he was automatic. And then Mike's just great. He's if you say, Mike, hit it over here to this tree, boom, it's on the tree.
Right.
He can play target golf. He hits it pretty long, very accurate, great putter. He made about a 50 or 60 footer for birdie.
Yeah.
He can play, but it raised a lot of money. The charity ended up raising between the golf tournament with Next Step Recruiting, and then the concert we had at Texas Live with the Josh Abbott Band, and the various auctions. We ended up making $330,000, something around
In
there.
one day.
In one day, yeah. Now we have some overhead like the bar bill. We always have to deal with the bar bill, but it was just a great cause. We're going to help a lot of families out, and
I saw where Mike Adams talked about, he may know somebody actually that's dealing with, if you don't know what it's for.
I think we helped. Yeah. The charity, if you guys remember Richard, and if you don't, go to doitfordirt.com and read up about Richard.
Go to our Emily show too. We really talked about it.
this great guy, sports writer, was on the radio, could do anything. He filled in. He filled in one day at a Tigers Rangers game because I think Eric was sick, and so Richard just slid in and did the color with Matt Hicks. And anyway, he just died suddenly one day. Went out to he was running, jogging, great shape, jogging to get his sister-in-law's car at the repair shop while she was in at Disneyland with Richard's wife and 2 kids at the time. And Richard was going to fly out the next day because the Rangers were going to Anaheim. Anyhow, he died. Terrible tragedy. So anyway, our first event was for his family. We raised $200,000, and then we wanted to continue to help other families. So they haven't taken a dime since the first year. Kelly Durrett, who was pregnant at the time, she and her 3 kids are fully on board with it. They're at every event. And so anyway, families affected by sudden loss of a parent. And it happens every day.
Oh my gosh.
It happens every day in this state, in this city, in this world. And we're just here to help. We've already helped 2 families since the event. And I think Mike Adams recommended one of them, the former Rangers reliever. He's at pretty much every event.
I've seen him the last 3 years at the golf course.
Yeah, so he's another good one. So
if you're a golfer, this is a great event just to play golf. If you don't want to go to the event at night, there's so many people that if you're a Ranger fan, you will see some cool people at this golf event. Mike Maddox, who was there, of course, we know Mike from covering him, but he was friendly to every person that he met. He would take pictures with people. All these former players. Derek Holland was running around there. Kobe Lewis was there.
Flies in from California.
To play in this thing. And what I realized about our team, though, our team shot a 51, which is amazing for 18 holes. We ended up not winning, but so these guys were amazing golfers, and for me, I was just the eye candy. That's all I was.
That's pretty much it.
I was the eye candy. I think I sunk a putt or 2, but that was about.
You started out hot.
I did kind of start out hot, but it became apparent who were the ringers, and I was that D player. You know that little brother you bring along that kind of mom made you bring him along with the thing. That's why I was there. But it was a great time, and Jared's going to tell us about Sandlot.
His charity, great charity.
It's fantastic when he gets on here. But we got to get into Ranger stuff because that's why we're here to talk about Rangers. We're going to recap. You guys have done weekly all day or daily all week. There's things that I got to catch up on. I watch every one of them, and I don't catch all of them. But you guys go to hit the subscribe button below for this channel, but also hit DLLS_sports for the whole DLLS sports channel. Hey, Stars, Rangers, Cowboys, Mavericks, they're all there. TCU, he does a TCU show every week.
I do.
And they're going to expand out. I think there's going to be some more stuff eventually they'll do. This is a new network for Dallas-Fort Worth that covers every major thing. It's been a great deal for some journalists, full-time journalists now that are back to work doing this. I'm glad to be a little small part of it. It's been a blast, and it's been fun to meet all these people. Sasaki, I'm going to get into Sasaki. So where are you feeling on this, on Sasaki? I mean, Ranger, there's some teams that are on it. Everyone's saying Padres, Dodgers, maybe Mets because the Mets, but this is not a money thing.
Yeah, well, if the last one with this hype was Ohtani.
Sure, he came the same way,
and he was the 2-way player, of course. So probably he's a bigger star, is a bigger deal. But he took less money. I think he took 2.1 or 2.3 million.
The Rangers had
signed with
3,
the Rangers. Right? The Rangers had
the Angels. The
Angels. Whatever I said. The Rangers had more than 4 million.
Right.
They were ready to go get more. They had deals lined up to get more, and the agent told them, Nez Bolello said, "Hey, this is not about money; it's about the right fit." And he felt it with the Angels. So and I think the Rangers might have been the favorite then, because they had the Yu Darvish, they just traded him really a year earlier. And so anyway, that was that still burns deep inside the people who are in the meeting. Ohtani, I think, met with 7 teams in Los Angeles. Rangers felt good about their presentation, but everyone's saying Dodgers because obviously the 2 huge Japanese stars, but
just won a World Series.
Right. I mean, the Dodgers are huge in Japan right now. The Rangers were huge when they signed Yu Darvish.
Sure.
It's I don't know, cyclical is the right word or whatever, but you just got to get in the room. All 30 teams can sign him. That's the thing. It's not
everyone's going to try.
It's not the huge. It's not like it was with Darvish when the Rangers had to put up a big enough posting fee to win the right to negotiate with him.
Right. That's not this
to negotiate with Ohtani. It was $20 million. That system immediately changed. Now the posting team just gets a percentage, 20%, 25% of the contract that ultimately he signs. But
he's got to sign a minor league.
But in this situation, he comes out of the international budget because he's only 23. He just turned 23.
So he's going to get a bonus, and then he's basically going to make league minimum.
He's going to get a bonus and make league minimum. But there's going to be, on the backside, we're going to take care of you in one of those situations.
Well, he's going to get some major endorsements too that he'll get off of that. Right. So my deal has been, the reason that I wonder about it. So the factors that you tell me if I'm wrong. The factors I think that could be a plus for the Rangers.
Okay.
That could be a plus. This guy is obviously the biggest name coming out of Japan right now. Maybe he doesn't want to just fall in with the other two Japanese players. Maybe he wants to go out on his own.
Yeah, for sure.
And be something.
Yeah.
Maybe he wants the Rangers aren't on the West Coast, which everyone seems to think anyone from the Pacific Rim would rather play on the West Coast, which I get for the fact that going back over to Asia in any form, that's a little bit closer flight, but we're talking a closer flight by about 2.5 hours. Yeah. Dallas has direct flights to Japan. He could do that here. But it's not the East Coast where you would have to fly across the country before going. Don't get me wrong. The Mets and the Yankees will be on this guy too, trying to get him. And this guy's going to look at it and it's going to be a franchise. Now, one thing else I think that plays in the Rangers' favor, besides that, if this guy is looking to do it on his own, they were the world champs 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And most of that team is still here. This is not a team that blew it up. No matter what happened this season, the Rangers did not blow up their team and do what the Marlins did that year and start selling off everybody. Mm-hmm. They're still basically the core of that team is here. They had some injuries last year and underperformed, but they are, so that might help. And then thirdly, if they can get him in the building, it's an indoor stadium. In Japan, you play a lot of indoor baseball. I think it's all indoor baseball.
No, they have 6 domes.
Okay.
Sasaki's team, Chiba, played outdoors. Huge foul territory. It's like Oakland.
Okay.
A very pitcher-friendly park, actually, although they've made some adjustments to it here recently that have allowed for more home runs. But it's a smaller ballpark. But pitching, he probably pitches half his games in, but 30% of his games in domes.
Right, because half his games are at his home stadium. If that's like any other baseball league.
And in Japan, the climate in Japan in the summer, it's muggy. It can get kind of warm, but there's a lot of humidity, and I think that there are islands, and his ballpark is right on the Tokyo Bay, so it's humid, and so anyway, there's going to be climate control, but the ballpark, he's going to be blown away by it.
Yes, if they can get him in the ballpark, the amenities are great.
Visiting players are blown away by it.
Yes,
in the majors, they're like, "Holy crap, this place is awesome!"
It's awesome. The amenities for the players, for any of you that, let's say, it looks like a barn and what they have there. We're talking about player comfort. They come in the stadium and see what's there. Another thing, and people don't take this into account enough, playing on a coast, whether you're on the East or whether you're on the West Coast, that's not a lot of fun travel, especially Seattle, which is a team that's been mentioned. A lot of long travel from there. Being in the center of the United States, really your longest flight is probably to Seattle or maybe New York or Boston.
The longest flight is Seattle. Seattle from DFW it's further away from Seattle's further from DFW than Boston. So Seattle is the longest flight.
Okay.
Yes.
But
believe me, I've studied my airline miles. I know.
So on Sasaki, now what's the current thing? When does he start? He hasn't officially been posted yet.
He has. Well, I think he has been.
He has been officially posted. Is he coming to the States to do a tour? Do we know yet?
I would assume that he has to.
Right. Well, yeah, he's coming here eventually. He's going to come here.
Okay. So, and another factor you left out is Chris Young.
Yeah. The guy that runs the
Rangers.
Yeah.
He is a former major league pitcher. He speaks the language.
Does he speak?
No, not he speaks the
pitching language,
the baseball language.
Okay,
yeah, he does not speak Chinese or Japanese.
It would be Japanese.
Excuse me,
Yes.
Japanese. Sorry to all my Japanese friends. So he's gonna be a huge selling point.
Yeah,
it really falls on him, I think.
Yeah,
obviously they need to have the money. So Ray Davis will be able to be in the meeting and meet him and say there will be money to sign you and keep you.
Right. Rangers need to show they're serious about this year, though.
Right.
And that's what's great. This doesn't hamper them from doing anything else.
But look, Chris Young was in on all the meetings with Marcus Semien, Corey Seager, Jacob deGrom. He really drove the Jacob deGrom thing. He's going to be able to convince Sasaki that this is the place where he needs to play.
Right.
And he can say, hey, look, we have a manager who's won 4 World Series. We have a pitching coach who's regarded as one of the best in the game.
He's a good golfer,
and he's a great golfer. Our payroll is competitive.
Yep.
There's more there once we get our TV deal situated. This ballpark is a cathedral, and it really takes care of players.
You will never have rainouts for home.
Yeah.
It's gonna be climate controlled, so it's never gonna be too hot because they will put the air conditioner on.
Yeah.
You'll have some chance to play.
And if he wants the roof open, if he likes pitching outdoors, open the roof.
That's the one guy that if he's got a 1.8 ERA and he says, "Look, it's 100, but I want it up."
If it's August 6th and it's 106, but he wants the roof open the damn thing.
Absolutely, right? Those players will go. I'll do it if he's going to go out and pitch me 8 innings of shutout baseball.
So anyway, to your point though, he will be coming eventually. His agent is Joel Wolf, who was Darvish's agent, who handles most of the big Japanese players. I think he has them all except for Ohtani.
He doesn't have Ohtani. Okay.
And he's a good guy. Right. He'll talk to the media. We'll see him at the winter meetings, I'm sure. Since he has been posted, Sasaki, not Joel Wolf. Sasaki's been posted. His deadline to sign is December 15th.
He's got to sign by December 15th. Okay.
So that's 15th is a Sunday. It's a week after Jared's event.
Okay.
It is the same week as the winter meetings,
which
are in Dallas. So I would suspect that things will be happening hot and heavy those first 2 weeks of December. And if he hasn't visited, if he was just going to hey,
visit a couple of teams,
I'll visit the Rangers during the winter meetings.
That's great.
Maybe they get the last one,
and say, hey, why don't we? Meeting. Hey, if you don't mind, you guys, let's jump in this car. I want to run on you over here and show you the building.
So, I mean, that is the thing. Ohtani didn't tour any of the stadiums. He just listened to the pitches, and they did all sorts of things, and I'm sure that the Rangers will get all these, the biggest stars they can,
right?
To say, hey, come to Texas. Even he may not have any idea who they are, but
right.
It's going to work. The Rangers are going to get a shot. So okay. So let's kind of look at this realistically. Every team can sign this guy out of their international budget.
Sure.
It's all 30 teams could do it. He's not going to go play for the A's or the Pirates.
No
offense to them.
The Rays are the only team that are kind of smaller market he would consider. I would say
the Rays, and I'd watch for Toronto.
Sure.
I would keep Seattle, San Francisco, Dodgers in there as well. The Mets have Senga. The Yankees have a history of Matsui and Tanaka.
Right.
So those guys might be players too, but you see reports that, or at least one report, that he doesn't necessarily want to play in a big market. So DFW is the 4th biggest market. All right,
but it doesn't play like that.
But once you get out of Dallas,
it's nothing.
Once you're west of 360, it does not feel like the largest market out there, the 4th largest market. So maybe that helps him. He can live in South Lake or Colleyville,
or he could live in One Rangers Way in one of those
Rangers Way. Absolutely,
right there,
they'd probably give him one.
Yeah,
or the Rangers would pay for one of those penthouses. But anyway, so player development apparently is another big thing for him. All right, so maybe you get Kumar Rocker to say something in the presentation. You
Yeah.
know? But Jacob deGrom. If this guy is the Jacob deGrom of Japan, well, why not go pitch with the Jacob deGrom? There are a lot of things that line up for the Rangers. Now it may just be as easy and cut and dried as it looked, that it's the Dodgers and they'll have to F it up to lose him. But I do think that he'll take meetings. I think that the Rangers, if they get one, are just going to make it a very compelling case that he should come play for the Rangers.
Okay. Sasaki talk is going to stop. We'll probably bring it back up when Jared gets on here because we want to hear his opinion of what he thinks. We got to go into, first of all, congratulations. Congratulations to Josh Smith.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Silver Slugger winner for utility, man. And let me tell you what, somebody's birthday is today, and boy, did he get railroaded.
Oh, yeah, Wyatt Langford. Happy 23rd birthday to him. He is not a finalist for Rookie of the Year.
Did you see those numbers when they put him?
Yeah.
Even WAR, which seems to be the big thing. He's got a higher WAR than all three of the other guys.
Yeah, with I've been thinking about this. With rookie voting, because I've voted for the award, I don't know, once, maybe twice. Anyway, it seems like rookies who have impact on playoff teams, it's weighted in their favor. I don't know that for sure, but I think that
didn't happen with Ohtani.
What?
It didn't happen with Ohtani. He played for the Angels and won Rookie of the Year.
He was a unicorn, yeah, but
that's what I mean.
He still is, but
he's a unicorn. I love that reference.
I just think that has had an effect. Now Langford, his numbers, if you study the numbers, you could make a case that he should be the Rookie of the Year because
he should be the Rookie of the Year. Not only
he led rookies in WAR. All right,
yeah. He led them in home runs. He led them in average.
He didn't do it the whole year, right?
True.
He was pretty dicey until, let's say, August, and then September was fantastic. But you can also make the argument that how does a guy finish? A strong finish is another thing, and nobody finished stronger than Wyatt Langford because he was the American League Player of the Year in September. So yeah. I mean, should he win the award? Not necessarily.
Yes.
Should he have been one of the three finalists?
Yes.
I think it's pretty clear. Yes. But other guys have arguments too. Willie Ibar for the Red Sox and Cade Smith for the Guardians, the reliever. Although it's what about Mason Miller?
Yeah.
Mason Miller,
he didn't even make the top three.
Mason Miller was a second team All MLB,
and that's because he's with Oakland or whatever they are now.
And he didn't make it.
Yeah.
This guy who throws 102 and is dominant.
Yeah, he's dominant. He's good.
He, and closers are also guys who frequently win the award.
Yeah.
I think Neftali Feliz won the award.
Yeah.
Andrew Bailey won the award, and then blew up his arm too. So anyway, he was probably Wyatt was deserving of being a finalist at minimum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I put out some stuff about some possible trade candidates, and there were 25 of them going out there. And then we talked about free agency. Nothing's really moved yet. I mean, you're seeing some signings, nothing big. When is this going to kick? I mean,
well,
winter meetings tend to kind of jumpstart a couple things. Are they going to wait again for this Sasaki?
Yeah, I don't know if they will or not because
he shouldn't hinder anybody's.
It's just a different budget, and. It would be frowned upon by Major League Baseball if, the team that wins him the next day announces, and we've assigned him to a 20-year, $500 billion contract.
Right.
So the market can't, like Corbin Burns, I don't think, and Sasaki are comparable.
Right.
And so I don't know what that is, what that delay is. The Angels have been very busy signing up guys, and
they got D'Arnaud. Is that how you say it?
Travis d'Arnaud.
D'Arnaud, and then did they drop their backup catcher? They just DFA.
Yeah, so they have Logan O'Hoppe, and they got rid of Matt Thaiss. I think that's how you say it.
I'm the hick that mispronounces everything.
Anyway, So they're making some improvements. They signed Kyle Hendricks, although I don't know if that's an improvement. It's a veteran on a very young staff, at least. But yeah, you're waiting. Maybe Juan Soto is going to set the market.
That could be too.
That might be it.
He's going back to the Yankees, don't you think?
I don't know. It depends on who wants to give him the money. I'm telling you, I really think Toronto was the runner-up to Ohtani.
Were they?
And everybody remember the flight tracker and there's a plane headed to Toronto and all of that stuff. And there was even one report that the Blue Jays had landed him, I think, based on the flight tracker thing. But they're owned by Rogers Communications, and Rogers is a big deal in Canada. It's the Verizon of Canada, or the AT&T of Canada. So they have tons of money, tons of marketing opportunities, i.e. commercials and endorsements. So they're going to be players for Soto too. I really think they have money to throw around, but then they also have this, do they want to keep Vlad Guerrero, who's going into his last year of arbitration?
Right.
So they've got some decisions.
It's not just money. You got to sell them on. We're going to win here.
Yeah.
That's why nobody saw Simeon and Seager going to the Rangers.
Right.
But Chris Young, that's why you always got to say, because Chris Young pitched them on. This is what we're going to do. So don't, we're spending and we're going to go out and get them.
Vision's a big thing.
In fact, I think, didn't they tell Seager we're going to go after Simeon too?
Well, Seager said it can't just be me. It's got to be others as well. And I think Chris Young was like, don't worry, we're taking care of that too.
We're taking care of that too. But here's what I saw. I saw a list that you see these predictions of where these free agents are going to land.
Yeah.
And I saw an interesting one the other day. They actually had Evaldi going to, who do they have him going? Maybe the
Braves?
No. I think it was, it might have been Boston. No.
Boston has been mentioned,
but you know who they had the Rangers signing was Sean Manaea.
Yeah, I don't know about that. He's had one really good year, and the fastball metrics are interesting, I guess.
I think Evaldi's their top target.
He's got to be their top target. Yeah, I mean, some people have been like,
look, the Rangers have an ace. They have an ace. Period.
Yeah,
a number one starter is on this team already, and he signed through the next 3 years. Nathan Evaldi, yes, can be an ace on a lot of teams.
Yeah.
But I think he would rather be the number two on a really good team.
He wants to win.
This part of your in this part of your career, yes, it's about winning.
Yeah. And
I'm going to make enough money to be fine.
Yeah, and the geography is very nice for him. But he flat told me, and I wrote it, they got to show that there's a commitment to win.
Yep.
And if he can be sold on Chris Young's vision and understand that there is more money coming, that the TV deal is going to work itself out and everything will be fine, then he's going to be convinced. But I think the Rangers, people, are like, well, you can find a leader anywhere. No, Nathan Evaldi is different. He's just a different guy as far as the way he keeps involves himself with what other pitchers are doing, giving pointers to young kids, and sending text messages to guys who are in the minor leagues. He does all sorts of things that guys just don't do.
Right.
He's kind of the glue that holds the pitching staff together. And I think that obviously Jacob deGrom is great. Max Scherzer was great a great veteran, but they're just not like him. And so I think that's you can replace technically you can replace Nathan Evaldi on the pitching staff, but you can't as far as the pitching. But the other stuff that Chris Young just believes in so much.
Yep.
And I know that Evaldi, he wanted to know, what Bruce Bochy was going to do, what Mike Maddox is going to do in terms of the end of their careers.
Sure.
Bruce turned 70 this year, I believe, and at the end of his deal, Mike Maddox really was planning to retire until the Rangers came along a few years ago. So, how much longer are they going to hang around? And because Evaldi wants wants to be with them, so.
And Matt, and quite honestly, Maddox is here because this is where he lives.
Right.
And this was an easy choice. He was back and now that they're winning, I think he's probably kind of sitting back and going, okay, well, I'm still going to ride this thing as long as we're here in the Metroplex, because all his family's here and all of that. So it's comfort level. That's what he likes. And he's on a good team. So that's interesting. I mean, and Evaldi too, what you can't look at, let's say Nathan Evaldi isn't even the Nathan Evaldi of recent years, which is good Nathan Evaldi. He is such a battler and a good guy that if he ends up being your fourth starter on a rotation, you got a hell of a freaking rotation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a hell of a damn rotation if Nathan Evaldi's bumped.
If Rocker becomes what everybody thinks he will,
which is the number 2 or 3, yeah.
So we'll see, but
Malley,
definitely need to get him
locked up.
Yeah, that is a priority.
And Sasaki's, if you get Evaldi locked up, you're obviously going to go try to find another starter somewhere, whether it's a Mania or maybe it's a lower level guy, kind of that fits into your mold of, kind of like a Lorenzen or something like that.
Kyle Gibson type.
Something like that you go and get. If you somehow on top of Evaldi get Sasaki, he's just the chocolate ice cream. He's just the chocolate sauce on top of everything. You just pour it all over it. That's just your guy on top. So, and then when it comes to offense, though, I mean, that's the only other thing. There's one hole that people look at, and it's a DH type, maybe. Did you see the video the other day of Adolis dancing?
Yes.
So his knees have been bothering him, right?
Well,
or hamstrings.
They should be all right, his knees. But he has to be better. The Rangers offense is going to get better.
Well, a healthy Josh Young is going to be
Josh Young, Adolis. Marcus Semien needs to have a better season.
Sure.
And the catching situation needs to be resolved.
That's got to get resolved. We don't have a backup catcher.
They need to have a DH. They don't need a full-time DH. So, we talk about all these positions. You go through the outfield and you can name a guy every spot. Josh Smith is the guy without a spot. All right.
Right.
So do you want him to DH all the time?
No.
Do you need more power there? Is it Josh Smith plays one infield position a week
to get the other guys
off their feet? So I don't know. The Rangers, though, do have interest in Michael Conforto, Jock Peterson, Mike Yastrzemski, which would be a trade. Well, it could be a free agent deal if the Giants non-tender Yastrzemski. Yastrzemski can play center. You got to keep in mind, well, what's Evan Carter?
He was a late bloomer, right? He didn't get to the big leagues till like 28, 29.
What's Evan Carter going to be able to do?
Sure.
There are a lot of questions there, but
what are they going to do with Leote?
The main answer is the Rangers will be better if Adolis, Heim, Semien, Tavares are better,
right?
And Young's healthy. So those are the factors there. You really don't need to go spend money on the offense to be perfectly honest, but they will go find a veteran bat, I think, and they got to sign a closer. I really think they need to re-sign Kirby Yates. They really need a David Robertson too, somebody like that. So see what kind of money they have available.
So maybe you go get Evaldi. That's your big money you spend on Evaldi. Maybe you go sign both Robertson and Yates back again to have some. Look, you've got some candidates to be a closer in this organization that throw hard in the minor leagues, but they're not proven.
No, you got to have experience.
You got to have experience. The Neftali Felizes don't fall off trees that come up and have the year he had.
Yeah,
where you're just kind of unhittable. Mason Miller's another one that kind of comes up and is just dominant. And what happens in that situation? You throw 100 miles an hour, but you control it. You can get it over the plate, and you can kind of put it where you want it, and you have an off-speed pitch that you get from the same slot action as that fastball, and people get out in front of it or behind it or whatever you want to do. They're sitting slider, and you throw 100 miles an hour, you're never going to catch up to that.
Yeah.
That's how those guys do it. But if you can't throw a strike, eventually you got to come back over the plate with a strike. The guys can power up for 103 mile an hour fastball.
Sure.
And go, if you put it in the zone, I can put a barrel on it.
Yep.
Those are the balls that go for souvenirs, a long way out for souvenirs.
Yep.
I think let's get Jared in here.
Let's
start talking about his thing and get him on. So Jared Sandler's next, guys. guys. And joining us right now, you know him from TV and radio, mainly radio, but he's on the radio and sometimes TV broadcasts. It's our buddy Jared Sandler. Jared, what's up, man?
What's up, guys? Great to see you guys. It's weird. We go, I don't know, however many months seeing each other just about every day. And then, it's like going to school. You have a summer break, except ours is over the winter.
Yeah, well, we're on winter break, but it's never really a break. It's always trying to figure out what the hell's going on. This is my least favorite time of the year. I love, TR used to say it best. He loves 7 o'clock, loves the ball game, loves the daily grind, but this off-season stuff is not fun.
See, I get to enjoy it. I just wait if someone tells me something that excites me, cool. If not, I just wait to hear news like everyone else. But you guys are on the front lines trying to get out in front of everything and asked to forecast and this and that. That seems like stressful. There's nothing tougher. Like I'll sometimes get on Twitter or X or whatever and do a Q&A because I'm bored or I'm on a plane or something. And I genuinely enjoy the back and forth with the fan base. I get frustrated not at the question because I'd be asking the same questions, but at my inability to confidently answer any question like what trades do you think the Rangers are going to make or who are they going to sign? Because it is incredibly difficult to play with someone else's money. And I think there's a bigger gap even between people who are around the team on a daily basis. I think there's a bigger knowledge gap in terms of player movement than there is in breaking down or discussing the game. Right. And I guess,
sure.
Part of why TR said what he said, but I'm excited. I also don't love the whole part of the offseason where no matter what you do, unless you sign Corey Seager and Marcus Semien in the same offseason, It's never enough. And so I very much look forward to the back and forth from fans who are frustrated or concerned or whatever emotion that's not positive there can be. And I understand it. That's a part of being a fan.
Yep. They come out and say that Ray Davis wants to work in a certain budget that he wants to do. And immediately it's, they're about to start trading everybody because they're tearing it down to rebuild. And it's like, that's not what anyone said, man. Just relax.
Yeah. There's no rebuild happening.
There's not a rebuild happening. Like you, I get to kind of hold that. Jeff's got to ride every day and do all of the daily stuff. You and I can sit back and just enjoy it.
I've definitely not been riding every day. That's for sure. I'm not carrying a lot of weight right now. I need to get it back. So, hey, before we talk about your wonderful charity, we mentioned this a little bit earlier. What are your thoughts about Sasaki?
Yeah, we got to get that question answered.
Yeah, it's a really.
How would you approach him? That's what how would you pitch it?
Well, okay, so that's a tough one. I know nothing about the guy, right? I mean, obviously there is a hunger to play Major League Baseball because if there wasn't this burning desire to the nth degree, he'd wait a couple years and make a couple $100 more million, guaranteed. I do think one of the biggest mistakes that people make in general is assuming that a player like Torrey Hunter wants to play for the Rangers because he now makes his home in DFW, right? I remember when Torrey Hunter was a free agent before he went to the Angels, Torrey Hunter in the bag, assuming that, a particular connection is going to make a difference. So the assumption that he's going to be a Dodger because the Dodgers are basically the national team of Japan, I don't know that is fair. Maybe. Now, I say all that. I know nothing about this guy.
Sure.
Maybe that is what he wants. I know that there are talks like with you, Darvish, that he didn't want to go to Seattle and be in Ichiro's shadow, right? He wanted to carve his own path. I think that for the Rangers, who are absolutely, as you guys mentioned, not in a tear down rebuild mode, but maybe are going to be working with some budgetary constraints due to the tax threshold that they'd like to stay underneath to avoid further penalty. This is potentially a unique opportunity to get a multi-$100 million talent for pennies. Because, I'm sure you guys have talked about it. If he gets posted prior to December 2nd, well, that would then fall into this current year's international bonus pool. But if it's after December 2nd, then it'll be next year's. But either way, you're not having to pay a whole lot of money. It's an international signing bonus. So for the Rangers, that'd be a little over $6 million, I think, and they could trade to get 60% of that. So additional. So, eight, I don't know. I haven't done the math. But I think if this guy was like no restrictions free agent, he'd make Yamamoto money or close to it, which maybe the Rangers wouldn't be able to afford. So I'd be lying to you if I told you I've seen him pitch anything beyond the WBC. And it's always tough to know how talent in Japan will translate here. Although I do think that gap has closed in recent years to make it a little easier to interpret. All that said, if they can get Sasaki, I think that'd be amazing, even without knowing anything about how it would work, without any major league track record. You get him for several years for cheap. And as far as the pitch, it's tough for me to answer, but I will say it does seem like Chris Young has an ability to persuade from his perch and his background that's
what Jeff said.
Yeah, I think that's advantageous. I'll be honest with John Daniels. I've never felt like, a former player. Yeah, they know what it's like to be a player. But I mean, the GM is still the guy that's negotiating against these players. But I do think there's probably something that I've realized since Chris Young's joined the force that maybe speaking from someone who's got his resume, you can connect and relate to a player or appeal to them in a way that is very beneficial.
Yeah, I misspoke earlier. He has not been officially posted.
Okay. No, he has not been posted yet.
Yeah. The stories I read last weekend were like, all right, if he's posted now, it's December 15th is the day he has to sign.
So you remembered that, and then you were thinking he got posted.
But if he is anyway, the winter meetings have a chance to be pretty cool. If he
Jeff,
comes to Dallas and talks to teams and all that stuff.
Yeah, and I think I could be wrong. I think December 2nd is that like line of demarcation between last year and this year in terms of the international bonus pool. If you're a Rangers fan and you want Sasaki, the thought is that if he gets posted now, that means he's going to the Dodgers because the Dodgers are financially positioned better than most teams to acquire him now with the remaining bonus pool. If he waits until December 2nd, then
everything.
Obviously every team relative to, what's on his mind. But, and then I think I could be wrong. Is it 45 days? So I think it would be
45 days. Yeah.
January 15th or thereabouts where a decision would be made. That would be.
Yeah. Well, the international signing day is the 15th. So that's when the pools, I believe, reset. I don't know. Anyway.
You're right. That's why.
Yeah. And I come at it from the fan perspective, being the growing up here as a fan. I said, one thing Texas can pitch in their pitch to this thing, first of all, you've got the stadium, which is for amenities for the players. They love it. I mean, what they've got here is fantastic. It's an indoor stadium. As far as travel goes, everybody seems to just assume this is if he is a guy that's like, I don't necessarily just want to play where the Japanese media is already all there. And I don't want to be with, Ohtani and Yamamoto. I want to do it on my own. This is centrally located. Travel from the east to west coast can be long travel, back and forth. I know everyone just assumes someone from the Pacific Rim wants to go to the west coast because it is easier travel. But in my opinion, if you can get him in this building to show him and you can get Chris Young, which both of you have said, that guy somehow can sit down and tell a player, this is what our goal is. And they just won a World Series. I know, and they won a World Series and the majority of that team is still intact. It's not like they did a Marlins and broke it all down and started selling off pieces. That team is still here. They just underperformed and had some injuries.
Yeah, no, that's totally right. I mean, you can't, for years it was like, well, you got to convince people about a future plan to compete without a proof of concept with that group. And yeah, I mean, I think if you really want to break it down, there are fair questions to ask about, which player are you going to get in 2025? Is it the 23 version or the 24 version? I think there are a few guys that maybe would fit that conversation. But, I mean, at the end of the day, the Rangers won a World Series 2 years ago. I don't know if he's going to get this in depth, but I don't know that the AL West is the most daunting division. It's not that it's a cakewalk, but I don't, it's not like I think the NL West is a tougher division, though the Dodgers are well positioned there. But I do wonder, like, I don't know, does he want to be, and it's not even an ego thing. Maybe it is, but like the shadow of Yamamoto and Ohtani, and then to some extent like Hideo Nomo and past Japanese players who've played for the Dodgers. Does he find comfort in being with those guys? I don't know. I think it's tough to know. And, the one thing that's obviously clear here is that it's not going to be a Juan Soto situation where there could be a team that just goes over the top from a bidding standpoint that makes a world of difference. Yeah, maybe one team can end up offering more in a signing bonus than another, but like, we're not talking about a whole lot of money. And I'm sure most of the money for Sasaki over the next 5-6 years is going to come in endorsements anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it'll come for him too. All right, let's get into Sandlot Charity. This thing, so last couple of years, I've always helped Jared get all the stuff out there. I actually worked it last year. I was doing some wiffle ball stuff, which was a lot of fun. But guys, I can't make you understand how cool this is. If you have ever wanted to be on the field and see what it looks like from a player's perspective, you can do this. You will be on the field. Everything's done on the field. You can play catch down there. Last year was so cool for a lot of fans. I saw that. Tell them about the charity and what it's for. I love what it's for also. Yeah, well, I appreciate that, John. I want to start, though. I think it's really neat if you take a step back. The Rangers, the group of folks who are part of the Rangers media network in some capacity. You got Eric, who does his charity supporting mental health. Do It for Dirt, which just took place last week, and Jeff, I mean, you've been a part of that from day one. John, I know that you are very involved. That's congratulations. I was bummed. I do an annual college football trip, and we were in New Orleans and then Baton Rouge for LSU Alabama, so I missed it. I was bummed, but
Kennedy was really bummed.
What's that? Kennedy was really bummed. Yeah, she was. I bet she was. But what you guys did was awesome. And I'd be lying to you if I told you that, being around Eric and witnessing what he does with, his birthday benefit concert. And then, I mean, heck, my first year back in DFW was 2014. And the person who kind of took me under my wing, because working for ESPN radio for a couple months, was Richard Durrett. And so despite not having the relationship in terms of length that y'all had with Richard, I mean, he was like on a short list of people who I had developed a relationship with. And so when you guys started that, it was not only super meaningful because of that brief connection, but also it was, eye-opening to see what people with a platform can do to impact others. And I mean, heck, Emily and I, my wife, not Emily Jones, my wife, Emily, and I we benefited from Do It for Dirt and the work you guys do when we lost our house to a flood back in 2019. First, kudos to you guys for that. Sandlot. Yeah. So and the other cool thing, it's like 3 different causes, right? So we support kids with physical and intellectual disabilities by providing financial assistance to both those kids and then the organizations that support those kids with programming that helps them address a major need of health and wellness. So, really specifically, we love, the athletic programming, the idea that, sports can have such a big impact on anyone's life, whether it's the direct need of cardio and health and getting out and running and being active. And there's obviously great importance there, but I know for me and so many others, sports played such a huge part in developing your understanding of a lot of things. And a part of, who I am and my philosophies and how my life experiences have shaped, how I respond in certain situations is due to sports, whether it's dealing with adversity, dealing with success, failure, conflict, communication, leadership, developing friendships, social skills, all that stuff. And then on top of that, if you like it, it's fun, right? It's something that puts a smile on your face. And I think one of the biggest challenges with kids with disabilities, on top of the need for healthier and more wellness-driven lifestyles, which can be financially prohibitive, is just the opportunity to have access to the same activities or events or programming that anyone has. Because one of the biggest challenges is people telling them what they can't do and not giving them the opportunity to show what they can do. And we want to try and eliminate that by providing all these opportunities so that these kids can carve their own path and not have someone else from, some high castle tell them what they can and can't do. They can show what their potential is. They can figure out what their interests are. And so that's what it all goes towards. And we actually have a really exciting announcement. The event's December 8th, and we're going to be sharing with people at the event and then shortly after on social media, a really, really exciting new project that we think could be a game changer, not only in DFW, not only in Texas, but maybe here in the Southwest region. And if we do it right, maybe beyond that. So we're really excited for where things are going to be able to help kids with disabilities.
So when are you going to make the announcement that night?
We'll make the announcement that night. We're still figuring out the right way to do it and what information we will share that night. But for those who are unable to attend, there will be
social blast.
Media. Yeah.
We'll help you get it out too. Just let us know. Because I just look, I'm not officially, I don't get paid media. I mean, we have our own little thing. I mean, but I don't make a living. That's the way I can put it. I get paid. I don't make a living at this. This is a passion of mine. But one thing I've always been, I'm as far as Do It for Durant, they're part of it. I'm just free labor. And for you, I'm free labor. I'm like, you guys are doing good. If you need me, do I need to run and grab stuff for you? What do I need to do? Because I think using your notoriety to help people is, if you've got it, use it. And these players all do it. And y'all do it. And I just love that. And I'm like, look, I'm the background, but I love that y'all do that. Tell me what you need me to do, because I do think it's so important and it can raise so much money. And these players are, I don't think people can understand. These guys are such great guys, these players, and they are so willing all the time. They're like, what do you need? And, they'll get you stuff. I've seen them do it for Durant. I know your stuff you had last year was so cool doing that. And so I love it. And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you and what you do. For me, it's just fun. I just have a blast.
What are some of the option items you guys are going to have?
Well, we got a lot of cool experiences. We'll definitely have some autographed items, covering, all the sports and whatnot. But we've got some really neat experiences, not only with local teams. We have a Rangers VIP experience. You get, batting practice on the field, hang out with Corey Seager for a little bit. We've got the John Blake experience where he gives his big tour, and batting practice passes are a part of that. But we got stuff like Wrigley Field. You go, you get to spend some time up in the broadcast booth, go to a game. The Padres, AJ Preller donates a GM for a day experience. So you get to get the royal red carpet treatment. You actually get to watch some of the game with AJ in his suite with some of the front office. We got stuff, from a few different NBA teams. There's a dove hunting trip to Argentina.
Wow.
That's usually a popular one. And then I don't know what half of this stuff is or what it means or what the value is, but I know that my wife and some other women do a heck of a job putting together some items that are not just for men, but for women as well. Jewelry, fashion. I'm not saying it can't be for men too, but certainly not in my radius of knowledge and wherewithal. I know that some of these things are shiny and sparkly, and so I guess that they can raise some money. But we're still trying to finalize a few things. And the other cool thing is we got some like hands-on coaching experience things. If you got a youngster, baseball, softball, that's he or she's a catcher, you can get some experience, some knowledge from Bobby Wilson, who's maybe the top catching instructor in Major League Baseball. You can,
absolutely.
Quarterback. Yeah. Babe Laufenberg does a quarterback clinic every year. I mean, it's some really, really neat things. And if you got a little girl who wants to be a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader, the Dallas Cowboys cheerleading camp, I've been told is, a great opportunity for those young girls to gain some experience, and we've got some spots in that camp and hands-on work there too. So try to cater to everyone.
That would be creepy if we bid on that one.
Yeah, we had it. Well, I didn't want to bring it up. We actually had to remove John's bid on that last year. So,
I'm sorry. I guess,
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
No,
well, that's great. Those are great items. And
being on the field was so cool. I mean, guys, and I'm sure that you may not be announced it now, but last year there were some players on the current team, former players. There's a lot of media people around there. If you're a big fan of the Texas Rangers, like I am, I do have the privilege of knowing these guys. But if you want to meet them, man, they will all stop down and talk to you, say hello, do that. Marcus was around there with the kids last year, doing wiffle ball and doing all that. I don't know who all's there this year. I mean, schedules are different going there, but this is a great time to get on that field. It is a neat thing. You'll really have a wonderful time.
For sure.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jeff. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, all sorts of different activities. You can go into the bullpen and see how hard you throw. Everyone likes to say, I can throw 80. We'll see about that. The batting cage. And then one of the we try to change up some of the events. The outfield is like, you forget like how massive the outfield is. And there's so much room for activities. One of the things we're doing in addition to the wiffle ball home run derby and a lot of, we try to have activities for all the sports. We had just like a Papa shot last year for basketball. So we were like, well, you can do that anywhere, right? We're actually going to do a 3-point shootout. We're going to simulate a 3-point shootout where there's going to be 5 racks around a 3-point line and you're going to have 60 seconds. And, people watch the 3-point contest in the NBA and, how would I do in that sort of a contest?
Come find out.
Yeah. And it's, that's something that the kids can enjoy and then the older people can enjoy because it doesn't take a lot of movement. You just, pick up a ball and shoot it and then go to the next rack. So we're excited to see how that all plays out. But all sorts of cool, fun activities. And then if you don't want to be active, then you can just hang out, drink and eat and mingle. And then there's also stuff for the kids. Last year was the first year we did this event in this format, and we learned very quickly that unlike our Topgolf event, which really was more geared for the adults, or at least the teenagers, right? This is an event that 3-year-olds seem to enjoy. So we have some activities, face painting, bounce house, stuff like that. So if you want to bring the youngsters and like wear them the heck out, so bedtime's a little bit easier, please allow us to provide that opportunity.
Well, all right.
And it's on a Sunday, right? Sunday December 8th. Okay.
Tell everybody how to find more information about it.
Yeah.
Jared.
Yeah. So I tweet incessantly about it at Jared Sandler. You can also just go to thesandlot.org/events, and it's going to be right there, front page, and all that information will be there too.
And guys, if you want to DM me or Jeff or anybody, we'll get you a hold of Jared to get you any info you need. We'll put it out too. We'll retweet everything he puts out on it. I can't stress enough how great event it is. So if it's something you're wanting to get with your Ranger fan and you want to do this, it's something you ought to do. It's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And you talked about how Eric and yourself and Do It for Dirt, the community, we see a lot of the same faces at these events, and they seem to have, I don't want to say endless amount of money, but they have pretty deep pockets and are very supportive of what we do. So, that's 3 different events a year that you see these people at. And, even Derek Holland has an event too. And, you see people there. So it's a real neat community to be a part of. And, we're helping out. This small community helps out a much larger community. So,
yeah. And you guys know this. I mean, Do It for Dirt, it's nothing without the support of all these people, right? And we
absolutely
100%.
Okay, listen, we're going to get you out of here. I put out there, anybody got some questions? All the questions are the ones that we always hear about, Sasaki, trades, all of that. I did get one, and you probably know this guy, or maybe you don't, Ray Cartwright.
Ray, yeah.
You know Ray Cartwright.
Yeah.
So he said, ask Jared why Tottenham appears to be playing well by all metrics, but they can't seem to get out of their own way. And if you don't know, there's a group of guys that are Premier League football fans. And I guess Tottenham, is that your team? Tottenham, whatever. Tottenham, okay.
Yeah, Tottenham works. They haven't been playing well enough to get the name pronounced properly anyway. Yeah, Ray knows this. They just can't finish. A lot of inconsistency, great opportunities. They'll typically outpossess and outshoot teams, but they just can't finish. They've missed Harry Kane since his departure. They need Dom Solanke to put the ball in the back of the net. Heung-Min Son, who I think a lot of people expect to be their best player, just hasn't been this year. So hopefully they can turn it around. I'm going to be there December 29th at White Hart Lane, Hotspur Stadium. I'm excited. So they better figure out a way to score some goals, and I'm there. I'm not flying there to watch the movie.
I'm a bucket list guy, and I've always said, so soccer was not anything growing up I did, but I really kind of got into it and watching all of that. And a bucket list of mine is to go to Europe and watch a team play in Europe with that, because I'll tell you why we want to do that. My wife and I were in New York when we were first married about 5 years, and it was when the World Cup, wherever it was, but we were in New York City, and everyone in the city was celebrating the World Cup, even though it wasn't in New York. And we stumbled into this bar, and it was Ghana, and all these people were all from Ghana. And so we walked in, and they told us, and I said, hey, well, we're going to be Ghana fans today. Is that cool? They brought us in. We were all drinking beer and screaming and yelling. And when we left, and unfortunately they lost in a shootout at the very end, and it wasn't as devastating to us as it was then. But when we left, I was like, okay, we got to go to Europe and do this, because these people are fantastic. I mean, it was so much fun.
Yeah. It's not on my bucket list, but
I've got it.
I do see the appeal. But yeah, I'll go to Europe and play golf. You guys go watch soccer.
Anything else for Jared?
No, let's get him out of here.
Hey, man, Jared, again, we always thank you for coming on here, your knowledge about what's going on with this team. You guys know Jared from radio and from TV. Sandlot Charity, that thing's coming up for nothing else going on, so we're going to get him out of here. Jared, thanks for coming on, buddy.
Guys, thanks so much, and thanks so much for talking about the charity. I really appreciate it.
All right. You got it, bud. Take care, man.
All right, guys. We'll see you, bud.
All right, yeah, good stuff. It's amazing the good that can come from
absolutely
being associated with a baseball team. In our case, it came from tragedy, but has turned into a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
What Jared does and what Eric issue near and dear to him. And let's not leave out Derek, what he does for children's cancer.
And Derek was trying to get on with us last week, but with his arm, I don't know if y'all saw his arm. He's had surgeries. He's doing all this rehab stuff, and he just couldn't make it work. So, and he said, I'll come on another time. He goes, I just couldn't get it together.
But he was at Do It for Dirt the next day.
Yep, so he was.
Good egg right there.
And it was just timing of when we do our show, because you've got to get downtown to do your thing and all of that. Hey, guys, you're about to head out of here, right? Okay, guys, listen. Another one's in the can right there. That's week 11, that's the show 11 of the new show with DLS Sports. We appreciate all of you guys. Thanks to Jared Sandler. For Jeff Wilson, I'm John Moore. Until next week, guys, we'll see you at the yard.